All right, folks at home, happy Friday. Everybody here, happy Friday. All right, we're going to get through 4 of these. This is brand new. We are going to do this again probably on Monday as well as on Tuesday. You'll notice that when we look at this, we don't see parentheses, so there is no distribute. However, if you look on this side of the equation, and of course we split the equation up across the equal sign, you will note that we have like terms over here. This one has a V, this one does not have a V, this one does not have a V. Therefore, the ones without a variable V are alike and can be added together. On this side, there's nothing over here that you can add together. You do not go across the line on distribute and combine like terms. Only those first two, the simplification process, the distribute and combine like terms are only per side. So we have 8 minus 2, which is 6. We did nothing with the 3v, that comes down. Since 6 is positive, we're going to use that positive as a plus. So we have 3 times v plus 6. Then we bring everything else down. Step number 3 is remove the extra variable. Well, there's a variable here, but no extra one over here. So we skip that step. So we're skipping distribute. We're combining like terms. We're skipping the extra variable. And then we have the add and subtract and the multiply divide. So if you want to look in there, again, which one is added to the v? Well, I can either start covering up numbers. That's 3 times v. If I cover up the 3, that's v plus 6. Or you can just say that 3 is attached to that v. Therefore, that's the very last thing I'm going to do. So since it's plus 6, we are going to subtract 6 from both sides of the equation. Our opposite operations, the plus and minus 6, disappear. We're left with just the 3v. And 21 minus 6, 15. And our very last thing we're going to do is get rid of the multiplication, which we do that by dividing, because that's 3 times v. So we're going to divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, or just gone, and the v remains. And we also, what we do on one side, we do on the other. Same thing here. What we subtract on one side, we subtract on the other. What we divide on one side, we divide on the other. After we get to those last 3 steps, what happens on one side happens on the other. And we take 15 divided by 3, which is 5. Everybody have that here? Good? Understand it? All right. Make sure you divide your problem up. Once again, there is no distribution because there's no parentheses. So we're not to distribute, so we skip that step. We go to combine like terms. Well, I see an x, I see no x, I see an x. So it's the x's that are alike. And notice that I take the plus in front of the 3, and I left a little space here because there is that magical 1 here. That one does not have an x, so we cannot add it together. We look at the other side because we do that over here. There's nothing over here to combine. We do not combine over here across, only on one side. So 1 plus 3 is 4x. We did nothing with that 3, so we bring it down. We bring down the 15 and the equals. There is no extra variable over here. There's no variable, so we don't have to do step 3. Well, we're going to get rid of what's added or subtracted. Well, the 4 is times to the x. You can see it there. The 3 happens to be added to the x. So we're going to subtract by 3 on both sides of the equation. The opposite operations, the plus 3 minus 3, disappears. We're left with the 4x, and 15 minus 3 is 12. And our final step, of course, is to get rid of that times 4. So the opposite of times is divide by 4. Don't change the sign. It's not negative. It's positive. Our 4's are gone. We're left with x. And 12 divided by 4 is 3. Easy peasy. If you were good with the distribution, you should be good with this, because the only thing we changed is the combine like terms. We did not change anything else. The last two steps are always the last 2 steps, and they're always going to be the last 2 steps. You may not have to divide. You may not have to add or subtract, but they're still there. You still do them. You just can skip them. You still want to say them in your head. All right, so let's separate that problem. Let's look again. No distribution. There's no parentheses. But there are like terms. There's no like terms over here, but there are on this side. We have an n here, and we have an n here. And note how nice and easy I take this so that I include that negative has to be included with this n, that positive with that 7, or that plus with that 7. That on itself, because if there was a minus here, you would need to make sure that goes with that. That magical 1 that goes right here. So it's -1 plus 7, which is 6, and they are both n's, so it has to have an n. We do not add n's when we add coefficients. We only add n's when we multiply coefficients. That's in the distribution. Well, we didn't do anything with the +3. It comes down.
Please excuse this interruption. Teachers, I did send you an email, but if you have a student who notices they do not have a locker assigned to them, please email the student name and grade level.
So there you got your announcement, your first announcement at home.
For that child. So again, if you have a student who does not have a locker,
so let's go ahead and look. We need to now check to see if there's an extra variable. There is no extra variable. There's no variable over here, but there is over here, so we can skip step 3. But we are going to move to step 4, which is remove what's added or subtracted. Once again, if I get rid of the 6, I can see n plus 3. If I see that, that's 6 times n. So it's the +3 we want to get rid of. So we're going to subtract 3 on both sides of the equation. Our opposite operations, our plus and minus disappear. We're left with 6n. And -15 minus 3 is -18. And our final step is get rid of this multiplication, so we will divide. And you'll note that pretty much it'll be division at the end. We'll mostly get rid of fractions if we can before we get to this point. But some problems you don't. Our 6's our opposite operation, our times and divide go away. And we are left with n, and -18 divided by 6 is -3. All right, last one we're going to do here, and then you at home, you'll go on, and us here will go on. So once again, no distribute, but we do have like terms. We have an 8, and we have a -6. Note, I take the sign in front. This has an X in it, so it will not go with those two. That's that side. Nothing on this side can combine. There's nothing there. So 8 minus 6, or you can say 8 plus -6. Either way, you're going to come out with 2. We bring down the plus 8x because it doesn't combine with anything. Now, I did this purposely because I wanted to show you this again. We're looking for what's added or subtracted to the variable. Well, if I cover up the 2, I can see that 8 is multiplied to that x. But if I cover up the 8, I still see 2 plus x. So it's the 2, but I am going to look in front of that 2. It's plus, so I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides of the equation. Our opposite operations disappear. -6 minus 2 is -8, and we bring down the 8x. Our final step here is to go ahead and get rid of the multiplication part of it. So we're going to divide by 8. That number there, not this one. It's not -8 on the bottom. It's 8. It's the number next to the x. Our opposite operations disappear. We're left with x. And -8 divided by 8 is what? It's an important one. -1. Here it's 1, and 1 times x is x. That's why we do that. Here it's -1. By the way, if you had 8 over 8 over here, the answer would be 1. So make sure you do that. That's why I say disappear. I don't say cancel, because they don't cancel. They are a number. Okay, there you go. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. If you need help, I'm on at 1:50, or you can email me and we'll figure out another time. See ya.